heck of a lot of fun, Jeanne Robertson. Oh, she's a heck of a lot of fun, Jeanne Robertson.
Hey everybody, it is Jeanne Robertson. Oh yeah, let me get the microphone. We got so many people and we got so many good things to eat out here, we just can't do it. I'm sitting on my back porch in North Carolina and we have a beautiful day. Some of our crew has already been walking from here to Elon and all around that campus. It's just a gorgeous afternoon in the South. Lots of people out playing golf, that kind of thing. And we are on the back porch and you're here with us. And it's a special show with a special guest, and I'll get to that in just a minute. So I want to tell you a couple of things. And Tony, I've got a couple of things that you can do too and help me with. We're going to do numbers right away, some number things. The first is, this is show number 60. That means for 60 straight weekends, somewhere, most of the time here, we're having our show. And y'all have made it possible because we're ranking really well. And we didn't even know what ranking was when this all started. But number 60 show is here. And I remember when I said, we'll do these shows till the COVID is over, thinking by July, that would be over. Polestar does a rankings every week on people who do shows like this. And of course, the live radio show that always scores at the top is the Grand Ole Opry with 2 million visitors. Nobody else is even close. But we didn't even know that we should tell them we want to be ranked until last May, I think it was. And for the end of the year, I finished in the top 20, which is due to y'all. And I appreciate it so much. This past week, for example, I was 16 or was it 19?
You were 16 on the show and
21 on the pop-up.
Yeah.
I didn't even know the pop-up was in.
Jeannie, it's not just due to them. I had a little something to do
Oh,
with
of course. It's Patrick running the show. He's switching the light. All right. Well, then what I want you to do is, first of all, we just heard the word. I was on the Grand Ole Opry 2 weekends ago.
Woo-hoo.
And we had 1,450, which was the number permitted in Tennessee at that time. They would call it a sellout. But we now understand that, is this correct, on May 14th?
I think I saw it on Facebook that starting May 14th, the Opry was going to be at full capacity.
Oh, my gosh.
And they were telling them so that people who had been turned down for tickets after that date would know there are more available now. So that's wonderful news.
Yesterday on the Neil Steele radio show, he was concerned because we hadn't sold any tickets in Richmond for 3 weeks. And he said, what's wrong? Because they want us to sell out because we might can do a charity thing for them the day before. But the reason is they hit the mark in Virginia. If Virginia changes and opens up more seats, they're no longer at that plateau. So everybody watch. If you've called and they said it's sold out, they don't mean it was sold out for the number of seats they have, 1,500 or 2,000 or whatever. They mean they've reached their state's limit. And those limits are opening up. As a matter of fact, Tony, you had something about the number of shows Al's now selling.
That's right.
On.
That's right.
All right. Put Tony on.
Okay. Jeannie has, if you'll go to store Jeanne Robertson, STORE, JeannieRobertson.com, which is where you can go and buy books, DVDs, CDs. Also, at the top of that website, it says live tickets, live show tickets. And if you click that, you'll see all the list of her shows. Right now, there are 29 shows on sale right now. On sale, okay. No code needed, no pre-sale. They are on sale. There are another 23 shows that you can sign up for early access. And when you do that, you just put your name and email in there, and then you'll get an email when those shows go on live ticket sales. We usually try to have a 1 or 2 day pre-sale, no break on prices. The prices of tickets are set by the theaters, and they handle their ticket sales. But you will get told when they're going to be on, and if there is a pre-sale, you'll have a code. The 29 on sale now require no codes. They are on sale. And they're all through the fall.
We've got a show at the Ryman in Nashville in September, so maybe if that opens up, we can increase
That's right.
those
They
sales.
can
Oh,
maybe
great.
sell more of those. The
That'll be
Ryman
fun.
is one
Okay.
of that. Ryman is on sale.
Okay.
It's definitely on sale. And some of the new ones were added on sale this week, included Birmingham and Atlanta shows that are in October of this year, Orlando, which is in September of this year, Wichita, which is also in September,
Myrtle Beach.
and well, Myrtle Beach has been on sale.
Okay.
It's on definitely. Myrtle Beach is at the Alabama Theater in Myrtle Beach is on August 20th is the show, and it's been on
You
sale.
don't even have that written down. You just remember those kind of things.
I do.
She's
you
like
know.
Rain Man. She's an excellent driver. An excellent driver.
I remember
Thanks a
numbers.
lot.
Up to
Okay.
a point, anyway.
All right.
But anyway,
and,
that's the easiest way for them to see what's on sale and get in there and get their.
what do you got
get
in your
good
hand?
tickets.
I can't
Sooner.
believe that. Excuse me,
What-
Tony. You just
This was at my feet. What's this ammonia doing here, Jeannie?
ammonia scares off black snakes. And I have been pouring ammonia and putting it around on the porch, and I just
It doesn't.
just in my haste, I put the ammonia
It
bottle.
also
up.
keeps neighbors away.
I know. Now,
And kangaroos.
We have a. Thank you for bringing that up, Patrick.
I thought you put Clorox and turned those black snakes into white snakes.
No. They turn us all just great. The funniest thing is that we have a special guest today, and that special guest is going to draw our first prizes that give away. Let's not dilly dally around anymore. I think I can get away with saying my favorite special guest is our son, Beaver. Will you come out, Beaver? Yay, Beaver! Has his own little fan club in the. How are you? You did get your bottle of water because I said, "Don't you want a drink?" And you said, "Well, it's over there." But that means you get up and walk in front of me. Okay. And on my lap are Paul's Donuts.
Yep.
Cookies from Paul's.
Yep.
And these arrived just a little while ago from Linda Harris, who is one of the Facebook fans. And so it's time for the show to start. And I didn't want to have all the glaze on my mouth. There are too many of the cookies gone. I'll just say that for the benefit
We
of
hit them pretty
people,
hard this morning.
People,
right
but
after
were
the
they
workout.
just arrived?
Yeah.
And this had a dozen.
No longer. How many are left now?
5
5 and a half. it looks
five
like.
and a half.
Yeah.
Because someone
I wanted a
Who
half.
took half the donut?
I wanted 2 different flavors,
Oh.
so I took a half of each.
there's a
There you
half
go.
right here, the glazed, and the half down here sprinkled with white and stuff like that makes a whole donut.
That's
But
right.
your hands have been all over the donut.
Not necessarily. They're
No,
clean. They're clean.
This show's going to last about an hour. I just want some donuts left when I get off. If y'all don't.
Then I
mind.
suggest you keep them up there with you.
Well, I don't
Yeah.
want them sitting in my lap the whole time. Will you help me?
Beaver,
Let's
move
remove the donuts.
put them where we can't get to them.
Put the cookies right here, anywhere. Don't step in them, lady.
All right. No, we're
Okay.
good.
All right, but Beaver, we start the show off giving away prizes. Doesn't that make you happy?
That does.
Reach
I love
in
to give away
here
prizes.
And these are for the month of May.
Okay.
Reach in there and see what you see.
It's a lot of them in here.
I know it's way too many, but we'll try. All right, this is a
All right.
prize. You can select from all the swag we have, except the audio version of my new book. That's this big deal at the end of the show. And the winner is Susan Weber here from Lincoln, Nebraska. Okay. I wonder what Beaver gives you for Mother's Day.
You're looking at it.
Okay.
I mean, what what else do you need? You got donuts and me. I mean, you're good.
Well, Susan Weber, he has answered your question.
There it is,
All right,
Susan.
All right, get the name down. We'll give away. Draw again.
Okay.
Don't
All right.
peek. Don't peek. Don't draw somebody on this street.
I can't see that far anyway.
Okay.
There you go.
Thank you. And the second winner for the day is Tammy Sewell, Dorga. Okay. Or you're from Dorga. We don't know which. It says Tammy, Tammi, Sewell, and Sewell, and then Dorga. I would think that's your 3-name name.
How do you spell
The
the
old
last one?
three-namer.
Darga. It could be somewhere in Georgia. We're not sure.
Yeah.
But she's won a prize. Draw one more.
One more.
And then I'll give them instructions.
Okay.
All right. Here you go. And the winner of another prize is Jean, Jean, Poole, Poole, Burton. She says, mothers never cook on Mother's Day.
You will not.
Mother's Day.
Or any other
Or
day.
any other day.
Yeah.
No, I have friends in here and they know. They started laughing when I just read the question. However, we like to go out for special dinner on another day because of crowding and buffet lines. So we might be able to pick out something on. She gives me what they do. We're not. Are you cooking?
I'm not cooking.
I'm not cooking.
No, Nisha and I, we may be whipping up something in the morning, or we
You
may go
cooking? You
let
coming
somebody
in
else
and
cook.
cooking? No, I know your husband isn't he sitting there. Tony, you coming over?
You
here
know,
cooking?
you're asking me.
Yeah.
I know. She
No,
That is a
lady.
gently used kitchen.
No
in there.
cooking.
That is
My,
very
my,
gently
my
used.
cook is sitting at that other table up there.
Right.
Patrick cooks.
Yeah.
I know. I've been invited to join the Patrick Henry and his wife Leslie, and then of course their in-laws Tony and her husband Tom on Sunday night ever since the COVID started. And this is another one of the things where Leslie said, "I'm going to have just a small family dinner every Sunday night till COVID is over."
Little did she know.
Yeah.
Little did she know. So my people want to ask you some questions because you were here last summer.
Wait a minute.
What?
Excuse me. Let me interrupt. You tell them what to do on the prize
Oh,
winners.
good point. Thank you, Tony. If you just won one of those three and the other people say, this is wasted time, I didn't win. But if you won just now, you write to Tony at JeannieRobertson.com. Tony has an I at the end. Jeannie does not have an I. And you tell them what you want. Do you want the book? Do you want any of the DVDs? Do you want a baseball hat? Just all this kind of stuff. That we're CDs, there are 9 DVDs and all. The new book, of course, it came out now. It's been a year. Don't bungee jump naked and other important stuff, but not the audio version. Tell Tony what you want and to whom you would like for me to autograph. Did you hear the correct grammar? How many times did I tell you? Correct grammar.
To whom?
Come in help. To
Yep.
whom?
Yep.
I
I used that once. and-
Somebody, yeah, they thought you were nuts.
Yeah.
Somebody wrote a question because we were shuffling through we had so many questions this week, which we are in this yellow bucket. And somebody said, this hit me last night. And I want to ask you they said, did you read to Beaver often? I never remember reading to
I
Beaver.
don't think you ever read to
I
me.
know,
No.
people were reading. That's why I can't find any little old children.
Your
Well,
own
no.
newspaper clippings don't count.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
No,
You never read to me. Ever.
I never
No.
read to
No, I
you.
was self-taught reader.
So, and when
Yeah.
did you finally learn to read?
I think it was like 1988.
No.
I was a pretty quick study on the reading. It's other things that took me a while to figure out.
Okay.
But
Well, I'm a little embarrassed about that because I said, I have no recollection of ever pulling you into my lap and putting my arms around you and reading a little.
that never
thing.
happened. No,
Well, I had
that
a
explains a lot, actually.
No, I
Yeah.
had a career, and
Yeah.
it was my main focus trying to do all of that. Holy cow! I'm sorry. You told me though that you learned to read in the first grade. I didn't teach you.
Well, I'll tell you what. We'll take some time tomorrow, and I'll sit on your lap,
okay.
and we'll bust out
Wow.
an encyclopedia or something. Do they
All
ever
right.
make those anymore?
Yeah. No, I don't think they do.
Oh.
Here comes the
I sold them
Question.
during COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Had your
Patrick sold from above ground schools to
Not
everything
schools,
during
pools.
COVID. Here is a question from Carol Fort, Fort, from Wilmington, North Carolina. Beaver, what do you think is your strongest personality trait you inherited from your mom and from Left Brain?
Well, from you, obviously, sense of humor and being able to take even the most dire and serious situations and being able to laugh about
Okay.
them eventually, right?
Yes. that's
Sometimes
right.
it took a little while.
That's enough said.
Yeah.
And is he holding his microphone close enough?
He's fine.
You're-
I've been working on the sound. I apologize. I've been adjusting the wrong mics.
Okay.
I've been turning you down and him up.
Do I need to go closer? Or,
No.
Okay.
Okay. And what about Left Brain?
Well,
Are
know,
you on a budget?
Yeah. I mean, actually, yes. I mean, I never, you know me, you and I are not big budget people. And so
Budget and cooking.
Left Brain Jerry would you know, he did instill in me, you know, if you make 10 cents, that doesn't mean you need to spend 12,
Okay.
you know? So that's, I would say
And
frugality,
he learned
a little
this?
frugality from
He's
from that
learned
brand.
this.
Yeah. I mean, it only took 55 years, but I'm starting to figure it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And from me, your sense of humor.
Sense of humor. Yeah. I mean, what else could I say there?
Well,
Right.
you lived in a house where it was a prized thing. And we used to say, yes, give us another one liner, will you? Give us something. Okay, I'll put that down. Another question from y'all. I've got them in the bucket. Don't know whose I'm pulling. Is Donna Dobbs, Beaver. Growing up or even now, do you have any antics or jokes you've done to your mom? Okay. I just remember if you got caught in a bad thing, your quick response was, I'm just joking. It's going to be a good piece of material.
Yeah. You got to find the sense of humor in this.
You have to. Do you have any jokes you've done to me? You wouldn't dare.
Not really. I mean, but a lot of things I thought were funny. It took you a little while to figure out they were actually really funny. Okay. I mean, that was the thing. It was almost a delayed gratification for you. I thought they were hilarious right out of the gate.
Yeah, right out of the gate.
And sure enough, 20 years later, she thought it was funny too.
I know.
Yeah, that's
When
right.
I realized that could be a piece of
That's right.
material, I could tell that
He made
because
it through
if you
teenage
didn't,
years. That could
if
be
you
funny.
didn't
And the
listen
commission
in
check
August,
is-
our first one of these is still out there. You can rewatch it. But I have been telling everybody for years about you had a one extra report card in the 9th grade that you were filling out or friends were filling out, and we
Right.
thought you were making straight A's.
Yeah.
That's when they called us and said you would be flunking the 9th grade. And that was a
Correct.
blow.
Yeah.
And then you told me on live last summer, I don't want something else like this. This almost put me. Actually, you had 24 of those and you sold the rest of them, and your friends
I
were
did.
doing the same
No,
thing too.
it was a nice
And
little
their
cottage
mothers were
industry.
criticizing me
Yeah.
when they found out about it. I don't
Yeah.
want to hear another revelation like that.
I was
he-
always
so-
trying
so-
to make money.
So he was an entrepreneur young.
I was.
He owns his own business now.
Yeah.
That's gotta
There
be
you go.
a
See?
connection.
I was just
Making
laying
money.
the groundwork.
This is my remembrance of Beaver making money. We had shag carpets. Just the memories of him on all fours looking for coins and
Oh, yeah.
any shag carpet in the house.
Mhm.
Just going through in on your
Another
bedroom.
thing
It
he
was
learned.
terrible.
Another thing he learned from Jerry.
Yeah, that's right. Jerry taught me that. Definitely.
Okay.
So years ago, when Leslie and I first got married, and I moved here. We were needed help getting Jerry's mother's furniture moved somewhere, but he asked me to do it, so I went and helped him. And
Oh, I didn't know that.
oh yeah, we
Thank you.
had a great time.
Was I out of
Yeah, I
town?
bet.
Probably.
But the funny thing is, I drove a big truck at the time. This may have been before Leslie and I got married, but I drove a truck. And then when I pulled back up to the house, he leans over or he reaches over and hands me a handful of quarters. And I'm thinking, this must be the cheapest guy I've ever met, going to pay me in coins. And then he said, no, I found these all in your seat cushions.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's why Left Brain and I are not in financial trouble. We are doing okay. All right, let's ask another question because we had a complaint last time. I launched into long stories.
Just
I've got
one?
some I want to tell,
Oh,
but they said, but we sent in questions. Ask our questions. Marcia Glenn, shoot, Marcia Glenn, Schuett. Okay, this was the one. Did you read books to Beaver as a child, or did you just tell him stories?
you told me stories.
I know it.
Yeah.
But were you listening? I hope so. Sorry, Marcia, I jumped the gun on your question. I apologize. All right, more questions. Here they come. And I've got some new stories I want to tell on you. You
I
tell
got one
me.
too that's about you that's pretty funny.
I didn't really ask you for
Yeah.
that. I don't believe that bucket made it into the...
Right.
We haven't censored that.
No,
Right,
and look
right.
at all the people
No,
sitting
it's good.
around.
It's clean.
Clean. Oh, we've already launched
Relatively
into
clean.
whether it's clean or not. I've already told you about no cursing.
No, there will be no cursing today.
Okay. All right. Dolores Blackwell.
Not from
And
you.
she spells her name Dolores. Beaver. Oh, we are recording. We're recording. Beaver, have you enjoyed having Jeannie as a mother?
That's a loaded
Is
question.
this a trick question? It's been awesome. I mean, no, it's been great. It's been a source of pride for me forever, and people are constantly coming up to me telling me the impact that you've had on their lives and the positivity. And your
Notice I'm not
message and-
stopping his
Wow,
answer.
what
Yeah.
a great
Yeah.
Go
answer.
ahead. Now
Talk
that
about
I know
raising
the
the bar.
direction in which he's going, you can keep talking.
Well, you paid me earlier.
I know.
Oh, wait.
I might
No.
not have
No,
really
it's
paid you
been-
today, but in the long haul, you're going to come out ahead.
You were certainly not the typical mother, and I mean that in the best way. I mean, it's been great. It continues to be great.
Okay, then listen to her second story.
Mhm.
Y'all are whispering. What's wrong? Okay. Is there any story that you wish Jeannie had not told about you?
No, not that I can
All
think
of them? Well, I've got a couple today that'll probably change. that.
Yeah, no. I mean, they were all. No, I don't mind it at all.
Okay.
There's no such thing as bad publicity, right? You told me that.
I disagree with that. And which story that I tell about you? I paid 5 of them this week out of all the ones we've taped, and we now have all these new ones. Which story has been the most embarrassing to you that I've told about you?
Well, the one that's gotten the most mileage has been obviously the red Porsche.
That's not what she asked.
And, so we're gonna go with that.
No.
But that because
Or the
that's
politician.
the one.
It is Mother's Day.
Yeah, that's
A
right.
mother, you're talking about a mother's revenge.
A mother's revenge, and that's the one that I get. If I was embarrassed about it at some point, that's long since evaporated because I
Okay.
get asked about that every week. I mean, every week by people online, in person,
Really?
people that know you. I mean, they ask if it's
It's
true.
really true.
Of course, it's true.
Of
And we
course.
left out some juicy details.
I
on
know that.
day. And
Wring
know,
your neck like a chicken.
oh yeah. They always ask, did you ever get the red Porsche? I did not. I'm still waiting.
You can't fit
I
in.
can't fit in it. I know. That's
He
what we
cannot fit into a red
No.
Porsche. Why would you want a red Porsche? You'd be showing off, and they'd say, "Look at him. He looks like a baby Huey sitting up in that
Right.
thing." That is, I mean, I'm not kidding you. That
Yeah.
would be
Like
silly.
a turtle.
Yeah.
I
I got
know.
a buddy, Wayne, who drives a
I know, Wayne.
convertible, or he did. He sold it, but he had a convertible Corvette, and I would ride with him because it's a nice car. Unfortunately, but I could only ride if he took the T-tops off
Okay,
because my head would be outside.
way too
Yeah,
high.
Yeah,
Well, you're 6'8".
yeah,
Okay,
that's right.
and you were so skinny in college, we were afraid you were going to die.
And look what happened.
I know.
I filled out.
You swelled
then
right
some.
up, didn't you?
Yeah, gained
Okay.
another human.
So should I tell? I'm going to tell my one story, and you tell me, because they always say, "Is it true? Is it true? Is it true?" First of all, about 3 or 4 weeks ago, I started telling new stories on this show, and asking my Facebook buddies, help me find a punchline. I'd had that story about the dog down in South Carolina, Patrick. You, as minute I told it, gave me 2 punchlines. Somebody else gave me a punchline. I just been looking at the story for a long time. And I'm going to just tell my Facebook fans and you right now what happened.
Okay.
And you tell me if it's true.
Okay.
Anytime that I deviate.
It's like a therapy session.
Yeah, a therapy.
Like raise my hand every time.
Yeah, every time I deviate.
Okay.
And now remember, we're looking for the good story. So don't get slap happy with your hand over here. Okay.
Right.
So at one point in your career, Beaver's career, he managed a Smithfield's barbecue in Smithfields, North Carolina.
Yeah.
And you lived in Clayton, North Carolina.
Correct.
So for all the people from that area, it's outside of Raleigh. If you are looking at your police station it's on the corner right there. And the house, look to the right, next to it was where you were
I
renting at
rented a
that
house
time.
there. Yeah.
And there was a sidewalk in front. And you
Correct.
were a good manager, and he loved his employees. I mean, I thought you went over and above for him, and I was
Mhm.
proud of you when things. So one busy day, y'all made Brunswick stew.
Well, we made Brunswick stew all the time.
Yep.
And so as a result, the leftover fried chicken that we had every day, we had to take the skin off, peel it, and stick the meat in a bag and put it in the freezer because we had to have chicken to make the stew 2 or 3 times a week.
Okay.
Okay.
I thought it was.
And
the
that was a
one
real
day.
pain.
That was
After
a
a
real
long
pain.
day, it was a pain to peel the chicken.
Okay. So.
Yeah.
So as I understand it, one day you just told that shift, y'all going home, I'll peel the chicken and
Correct.
get it all ready and put it up. Then you thought, well, what
We
the
had
heck?
plenty of chicken.
We had plenty of
Yeah.
chicken. When all of a sudden you were the official chicken peeler,
Yeah.
you had enough chicken
Correct.
and they gone. And so you rode over and you were going to put it in the dumpster.
Dumpster
These
was
are
full.
pieces of raw meat. Some of them cooked, some of them raw,
No, yeah.
skin, just
It was all
chicken.
cooked, but yeah.
And the dumpster was full. I
Mhm.
mean, to the brim, but you knew they would come back tomorrow and empty the dumpster. So you, rather than go back a few feet back to the restaurant, you just opened the trunk of your old car.
Hmm.
And it was the same car that you had in the story, A Mother's Revenge. You still had that old car.
Right.
Okay. And he threw all the chicken pieces and filled up the trunk and slammed it down. And then he went home
Hmm.
and parked the car, all that raw meat in that heat of the sun.
It was middle of July.
Middle of July.
Yeah.
Okay. And the next morning he got up and he went back to work. And when he got to the open place that he was going to throw it, they didn't have a button in that old car that would pop the trunk, and you broke the key off in the trunk.
I did.
So
Yeah.
now you had a trunk full of raw meat, some
Not
cooked
raw, I mean,
skin,
just chicken, yeah,
chicken
yeah.
pieces, and you could not get into the trunk. And the
Good.
people who worked for you thought it was all in the dumpster, that
Right.
had been handled yesterday.
Yeah. There's no
Okay.
going back on this thing.
No going back
Yeah.
on it. The day ended, and he drove home again and pulled in. By now, there's an odor around the car.
Getting to be a little.
It's
Yeah.
not rancid yet, maybe, but it's getting bad. And the two women who walked in Clayton together every day came by and thought they smelled a foul odor coming from your backyard.
Mhm.
And the more they thought about it overnight, the more they decided that something was buried back there.
Oh, somebody had
And-
buried a body.
Having watched a little television, they decided it could be a human being. So the next day they went to the police station and
Mhm.
told them that they felt like something dead was buried in your backyard.
Right next to the police station.
Right
which would have
next
been
to the
bold,
police-
a bold move.
Bomo,
I
bury a
think
body.
It's funny they waited a day.
Yeah. right.
Do what,
I think
Patrick?
it's funny they waited a day.
I know it. They waited today.
And this went on for
But
about
no,
a week.
3 or 4 days.
3 or 4 days. So
And-
at this point, the flies were showing up. and-
But here's the problem. When the police came, they said your Ryder was what, 9 months old? 10,
No, it
just
was,
a baby,
yeah.
a baby in arms. And they knocked on the door and said, we need to look around in your backyard. And of course the answer was, oh, what do you
Yeah.
say to the police? Oh, no.
Yeah.
You can't look around in our backyard. Yeah, sure can look at the backyard. But you had driven back to work.
Mhm.
So every morning he would leave and he would take the car and they would stop at a red light and flies would hover immediately. They followed you down there. Before long, they went ahead of you.
I was
This
having
is
to
the way-
park a couple of parking lots away from work because it was smelling so bad because I couldn't figure out how to open the trunk.
That's
I was
right.
working on it, but I hadn't figured
And
it out.
you were running this
was
restaurant,
running
so
the
you didn't
restaurant.
want to smell like that when
Correct.
people got out of the
Yeah.
car. Park it down where they sell
I
soups.
parked it next to the competition.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good line.
Yeah.
That no, I didn't know about that. That's
Yeah.
a good line. I will add that. And so this went on for a week, and the women were getting, and the police would say, "No, ma'am, there's nothing wrong. We walked all around that backyard. There's nothing. Well, something just doesn't smell right." So, but Beaver has always been able to land on his feet. And after about 5 or 6 days, one day somebody pulled up and came in, and there was somebody in the car. And he was not in a suit, but dressed nicely. He wasn't
He
just
was with the-
buying.
He was with the prison system.
He was with the prison
Yeah.
system in North Carolina.
Yeah.
And he wanted to speak to the manager, and that manager was Beaver. And so this is why I say he lands on his feet, because the man said, we have someone, young man in the car now, that is ready for work release.
Mhm.
And wondered if you might have a position here that you could offer him. He's a good kid. He got in trouble. He did some things that were wrong. Well, he didn't know if he murdered somebody or what. So he said, well, what did he do? And he said, he breaks into cars.
And the light bulb came on. I said, go get him. He's hired. He doesn't even have to fill out a resume. We're good. I got something for him to handle right now.
The kid comes in, bless his heart, And he said, the man leaves and says they'll pick him up like that after. And so and go back to prison. And he said, you see that car way down there?
Flies all over it.
By the
Flies
KFC.
all over.
Right next to the KFC.
And- Don't say it. He said, do you think you could break into that car? And he said, just break into it, you know?
Yeah.
And then Beaver said, yeah.
Well, specifically the trunk. I need you to go in from the back. So
And everything that is in that trunk, and if you throw it in the ghetto with our next to
you
the
don't need to
dumpster,
know what it is. I just need you to transfer it from the car to the dumpster.
the
Yeah.
kid breaks in with the trunk, just bingo, you told me. He said he got that truck up and so
He
forth.
said things flew out of that truck that he did not know
I
existed.
know.
Insects bigger than his head. Yeah.
Incidentally, that's how Nashville hot chicken was created.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Right.
And so then he cleaned it, he washed it down, he came back. And I wonder what happened to him. He came
He was
back
out
and
there
he
for like
said
2 hours.
he
yeah.
came, it was
He got
awful. In
arrested
the
for breaking into
sun,
Beaver's car.
Yeah.
horrible. What'd you say, Pat?
He got arrested for breaking into
Yeah.
Beaver's
I know, I
car.
did.
Add
Young
insult
car.
to injury.
And he came in and Beaver said, you have worked your head off. I'm sorry. It was probably not as pleasant today as it will be a lot of days, and he said, Mister, I'm not going to work for you. I would rather stay in prison than work for you.
We never saw him again.
We never saw
But
him.
he got Employee of the Month, strangely enough.
Did he
for that
really?
One day. Yeah. No,
Okay.
It's
Now
funny, he
you
went
never
back to
raised your
jail.
hand. Did I make that up?
no, that's
Pretty much
pretty
accurate.
much the way it went down.
How
Yeah.
you gave me a new line, parked it near the competition.
Yeah.
I know.
Always think.
Incidentally, the guy went back to jail. They said, "How was it?" He said, "You wouldn't believe it
Yeah.
if
I
I
know.
told you."
You don't want to be out there.
No.
Yeah, we got it good.
Do things on the side of the road. Really, you do
It's a
better
lot
than you-
safer in here.
Yes, it is. All right. Oh, you're putting down.
And it, just so you know, they love it. The
Do you like
story.
that story?
Yeah, they love the story. So tell it for sure.
PETA people will get upset because we killed the
Oh,
chicken.
yeah.
I
It's
know.
dead chicken.
They're already
It's okay.
upset.
Yeah, it was plant based. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Okay. Story and it worked. So I
Save-
got
you saved
several
some
more this
flies.
time. I just wanted to check out with you and
Yeah.
say, all right, more questions. We
Mhm.
don't want to use. Okay. Here we go. Right here. Beaver rocks. Look, somebody wrote Beaver rocks. It's
Oh,
been
yeah,
this
I
way.
paid him to
Do you
say
know
that. Good
Brian
old
Kelly?
Brian. Yeah, no.
You don't know Brian.
No,
You know any of these
Not
people.
yet.
not yet.
Okay. Here's this question. Lana Parks. Beaver. Have any of your sons? Where's Gray?
Gray called me at 11:30 this morning, said he'd had a big night and he'd catch me this afternoon.
That he wasn't coming and being on the show?
No, but he said he would see you on Mother's Day. So
I have advertised that Gray was going to come.
I,
Let's see. You walked when y'all walked to Elon. You walked past his house,
we will.
and he can't drag his backside over here and be on the show just because he's in college.
They're having a Darty, which is, as we know now, a day party, and they have a 50-foot water slide being installed. He's got big things going on today, Mom. He'll be.
They've got clowns and balloons.
Yeah,
and-
clowns and balloons. And
All right, Yeah, Lynn and Keith, y'all were not there last night because we didn't invite you. I'm so sorry. But we had Tony and Tom. Tony is here. We had Patrick and Leslie. This is the same group we have every Friday night if I have a guest. And Beaver said, why aren't we going out to eat? I'm a guest. We had Beaver, Nisha. We had all these people here. Didn't Gray say he would be here and be on this show
He
today?
did.
I believe he did.
I heard him.
I took it as a soft commitment,
No, you would.
but I'm just trying to put,
He said he would be here.
he said 12 o'clock was tough for him, but he would see what he could do.
I called Jack, my son, yesterday at 1:30
And woke him up.
In the afternoon?
in the afternoon, and he went, "Hello."
Yeah.
I said, "Are you just waking up?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "We could have paid a lot less money, and you stayed home."
I know. But they're going to school, but this is a Saturday, and it is a Saturday before exam. So they don't want to, they got to save a lot of time. He couldn't come here because he's saving to study.
Well, that's what Gray told me when I said, "Why have you not come by our house for Sunday night dinners?" Well, he's so sweet, and I know it's covering something. He's like, "Well, that's when I get all my studying done."
Oh,
This
shoot.
is true. Sundays are a big study day. for him.
Well,
I think they're the only study.
I was
Yeah,
going to say, yeah, because
But-
class on Monday.
Not going to pass at Elon. Elon's tough. What? Well, anyway, this is Lana Parks questions. Beaver, have your sons given you any payback moments for your youth?
Not nearly enough.
Now, there's
Not
two.
nearly enough according to you.
Well,
Okay.
you got.
Well, I was.
They're so much better than you deserve.
They're
You
good
deserve-
kids. They're
There's
good boys.
two of them.
Yeah.
Ray, named after a crayon, and Ryder, named after a truck. And they are
They're good boys.
they're good boys.
Yeah.
You deserve worse.
Better
I
than he
know. I
deserved.
deserve a lot worse.
Better than he deserved.
Yeah.
Yes, he does. Oh, yes, he does, Lynn. Don't you take up for him. Oh, yes, he does. But I will say that Ryder has moved ahead of Gray because Gray didn't show up.
Oh, really? Okay.
Just
I'll
let Gray
know.
know
I
when he
will.
comes to see me Mother's Day when
Yeah.
I'm asleep.
Yeah.
He'll
Yeah.
come in over and Manini, found any loose money in the bottom of your purse?
Yeah.
You know what? Okay. Can you believe that question rolled around? See, it has a little smiley face on the front. I like it. Okay. Everything in this house came from somewhere. And so, did you see this book? Do you see this book back here?
The Beaver book.
Yeah. See, it's carved out of that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
Somebody sent that to us. What was it? Something L Creations?
You've got the.
D&L.
D&L.
Deborah Lake, Laake, I think was her last name.
That is really cool. Yeah,
It
you've
is
got the
beautiful.
world's preeminent beaver collection. Is
I
that not
do.
true?
Somebody wants to know how many.
Can't
All
wait
right.
to inherit that.
Everybody.
Judy
Yeah.
Ellis. Judy Ellis. Question for Beaver from DFW. Dallas Fort
Dallas
Worth.
Fort Worth.
Most children go to their mom for certain questions and problems, but go to their dad for other questions. When did you go to your mom and when did you go to your dad, Jerry?
Well, you and I were talking earlier about how if I called the house and I was in trouble and you answered,
I answered.
I would always ask to talk to Jerry.
Asked to talk.
Because-
You said, let me speak
because-
to Jerry.
yeah.
Let me speak to Jerry.
He handled it a lot better than you did, quite frankly. And I mean, he just plain did because he was better at processing the information from me, hanging up, and then letting you know in his terms what I had done. And so I figured that out early. So, I mean, anytime I was in trouble, I went to Jerry. So,
Well,
probably-
see, when you have a PhD in education, you
Right.
try to figure it all out for the
Mhm.
best thing.
that's right.
And I know one time I was yelling at you and I said, why don't you jump in? He said, if we both yelled at him like you do, he would leave home. I know. And so, no.
Right again.
So I guess it's a good time for me to tell you what happened on another Mother's Day. This is
Oh.
another one of these stories. You raise your hand if
Okay.
it's not true.
Okay.
I bet not everybody in this room has heard this. However, on Mother's Day weekend, I was away speaking.
Right. Yeah.
I was always away speaking. That's why I didn't have time to read to you, son.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry about
I was
that.
standing there in the driveway with a book.
Oh, stop it.
And then I don't know where you were.
I know it. Okay. So it was Mother's Day weekend, and I was feeling very guilty because I was not here. I was not feeling so guilty you put your hand up.
You were kind of maybe a little guilty, but
Well, I felt really bad because it was Mother's Day and y'all were supposed to honor me, and I was
right, exactly.
preferring to speak somewhere,
Yeah.
which was a joke. People always said, you just leave so much. And I said, they're glad to see me go. Jerry would always say, oh, no, the whole atmosphere of the house goes down peacefully when
Yeah.
she pulls out of the driveway.
That's
I just can't believe he said that, but he did. So it was Mother's Day. And what I didn't know was you had a date. And you were quite excited about this date. I don't
Mhm.
think there was ever a second date
There was no second
because
date.
of what
No.
happened.
You're
I
right.
was scared of the day.
Yeah.
And he was so excited, and he went down and he took a left on one of the streets here, and you were running late
And I was running a little fast.
and a little fast,
Yeah.
and you went up on the curb
Uh-huh.
and you hit a bush
A bush.
and you left
And I kept going.
and you kept going.
And I went to my date.
And you went to the date and
Yeah.
y'all went to
The cutting board.
The cutting board. And you later told me, everything had been going so well. She had ordered a hamburger and not a steak. I was going to make it through the date with my money, everything else. And then we saw Jerry walk into the cutting board.
Yeah.
The people who own the bush,
They really like that bush.
I know it, they like
They
that bush.
really like that bush.
Oh, it was awful.
Yeah.
It was awful. but you left the scene. You were in a hurry and you were
and it was a bush. I
It was a
mean,
bush.
they make more of those.
And they could have gotten plenty of it out of your grill.
I know.
Yeah,
Oh.
exactly.
And anyway, so the man that knew it later said, I didn't know it was y'all's son. I mean, we could have settled this, but he called the police.
Right.
And the police called, and the bush had
They
been
got
hit.
my license plate.
Oh,
Somebody-
they had your
yeah,
license plate.
right.
And they called the owner of the car, Left Brain. The car was
Correct.
in
It
his
was
name.
His name, yeah.
So meanwhile, I'm in Chicago and I dial home feeling guilty. And this was exactly the conversation. Ring, ring, ring. And Left Brain says, hello. And I said, hey, I'm in the Chicago airport. What's going on? And he said, I can't talk. There's police at the door, and slammed down the phone and left me hanging. And we had no cell phones.
Yeah, there were
And
no
so
cell phones.
I'm just standing in the Chicago airport thinking, my gosh, the police are at the door. And the only thing I could do was get on the next plane and keep going to my speech, which I did. I called back. But meanwhile, this was what happened. Now you have to put yourself in Left Brain's position. Left Brain is a law-abiding to the point of unbelievable.
Annoyingly law-abiding.
Annoyingly
If there is such a thing.
kind. However, they charged you with hit and run.
They did.
They did not charge him with hit and run on a bush.
No.
They just charged him with plain out hit and run. And Jerry's, I'm going to choke telling you, Jerry's looking at it and saying, oh, he just nicked. Now we're down to nick the bush.
Yeah.
That
Half the
would
bush
you
was
raise
in
your
the
hand
grill of
on
my
nick?
car.
Half the bush was on the front of your car.
Yeah.
Well, you should have gone to prison and cleaned out
Yeah.
chicken out of trunks. So Jerry just said, this can't be on his record, his job record. Hit and run sounds like you hit a person. And you kept going. It was a bush. Before long, my sensible, law-abiding husband is saying, he nicks a bush. I said, he didn't nick the bush. He hit the bush. And he kept going. That's hit and run. He said, on a bush.
Mhm.
But it looks like hit and run on a person. And I'll never forget, this was Jerry's most distinct used, I am upset motion.
Yep.
That was what he
That's
does
how
all
you
the
knew he was
time.
mad.
And all of a sudden he said, I'm going to fight this. And I said, I got to see this. And he went to court.
Jerry lawyered up.
He lawyered up and
We were
said,
going to beat that bush rat.
I know.
Yeah.
With Matlock on them.
Yeah.
He said, I don't care if you put down hit and run on a bush. That's what he did. But you can't charge him just with hit and run. It looks like forever that he left the scene of a crime. And I said, well, he
No,
did
he
leave
did do that, yeah.
a little bit of a crime. And the judge, he didn't know the judge, was in court and they had to go to court. And I remember he said, dress up. And you said, does this work? No,
Yeah.
dress up. And y'all went over there. And when you came back, he said, luckily for you,
There was a full docket. They had a full courtroom that day.
That
a lot
helped
of
you.
stuff going on. And the Bush thing was, comparatively speaking, was not a big deal.
okay.
So
And
the judge threw it out. Sure did.
And I think even the policeman said I wrote down the wrong thing.
Yeah, but
Sorry.
I ended up going over there and replanting the bush. I made restitution on the bush.
So Jerry bought a bush.
Jerry bought a bush. Yeah.
No.
Little did he know he'd be buying a lot of other things
I
down
know.
the road too. But he bought a bush. Yeah. So
But we believe in the law.
yeah.
But I admire Jerry because he said
Yeah.
hit and run sounds like you hit a person and left. And I would hope you would not have the sense to
Well,
do
back
that.
then too, the threat that you guys loved to throw out there was permanent record.
Oh,
It's
the
gonna be on your
accumulative record.
Permanent record, boy. That was how many
No.
things did I hear that? I still don't know
No.
where this permanent record
Hey,
is.
some
I-
people call it a permanent record, others call it a legacy.
Yeah.
I know.
It's a legacy. That's
Okay,
right.
wait a minute. Tony, am I wrong? Our age group, I'm 77. People were listening in.
No way.
No
Yeah,
way.
no way.
People listening in. We were threatened with a cumulative folder. She said this, we whisper on the playground, they'll put that on your accumulative folder. We could say the word accumulative folder and it will stick with you for life. Like right now, I know there's an accumulative part
Yeah.
of your permanent record.
Please hold the mic.
Closer.
We
Okay.
got to start
I don't do
over.
this
We
very
got
often.
to start.
gotta
We
start
gotta
over?
start over.
Beaver,
Okay. Now, did I offend people? Was the Bush from Texas? What does
The Bushes,
the
President
Bush
Bush.
is the president? No, no. I agree with Left Brain. I love the story. Keep doing it. He fought the law and the law almost won. And oh, no way. 77. Thank you very much. The permanent records are now resting in the basement of some office building. See,
I
they're
believe
still
it.
there. They're still there. They're still there. What do you, did you look? So should I continue to tell that story? Y'all let me know. Is it offensive? It is true. It's a good Mother's
Oh,
Day
yeah.
story. When he said, I can't talk, there are police at the door. What? And hangs up on me
On Mother's Day.
on Mother's
Yeah.
Day weekend.
Well, the story that we talked about earlier about one of the questions we looked at was what was the maddest your mother ever got at you? Do you remember
I
that?
think I tossed that question because I knew it was the report card.
It was the report cards, but a close second was the story that Christine Perry, your friend Christine
Christine and Lee from
was
Tennessee.
the time that I double dipped on the Halloween
Oh,
situation.
when we lived in Durham.
So it was fourth grade. Halloween was we were getting ready to age out of the Halloween thing, but we were right on the edge.
That is a lie. You didn't age out at 20. You're still out there trying to get candy.
Yeah.
Age out in the fourth grade.
So my buddy and I,
Excuse me.
we were living in Durham, and my buddy and I, Tim Killenberg, who I haven't seen him since then, but we go trick or treating, and
At 4 in the afternoon.
and about 2 hours into it, we've hit every house in the neighborhood, and we were like, well, it's early, let's just hit them all again, and we will double the candy. And we might even can sell some of this candy to kids. So anyway, we hit every house in the neighborhood twice. We switched masks.
I remember this.
Okay,
you
just so
switched
they wouldn't know.
masks?
Yeah. So we get to the house and we're dumping out an unbelievable amount of candy in the living room, and we are stuffing our mouths with candy bars. And you walk in and you're like, holy cow, you guys racked up. I mean, did y'all go to another neighborhood or whatever? We were like, nope, in between bites, candy bars. And as you were walking out, I said, we're going to have to do these houses twice every year.
I remember the story.
And you froze and you turned around and you said, what did you just say? And I said, we hit every house twice. We switched masks so they wouldn't know. And we hit every house twice. We got all this candy. It's awesome. And you were like, you went ballistic, sent Tim home. So the next day after school, you drove me around the neighborhood to every single house in broad daylight. And I had to return the candy to each one of these houses, knocking on the door. They're opening it. And I'm like, hi, I hit your house twice yesterday. Here's a payday. I'll never do it again.
It's easy to go from a vampire to a hobo. It's a quick little turn of the cake.
And she stayed mad. It wasn't like just a few houses. I figured, well, we'll do this for like 3 houses and this is done. She's going to.
No, I remember that. I forgot that.
House. Every single house. I've never seen you that angry. 4th grade Halloween candy.
Yeah, well, no, but what was the most shocking, and this is not one that I can tell because you can tell why in a minute. You had that hamster.
I had a lot of hamsters.
You had that hamster big as a hog. I mean, when we were renting an apartment, you and I were renting an apartment.
That was a white mouse that got loose and ended
No,
up
not the white mouse,
Okay.
and wound up 3
3 doors
apartments
down
down and knocked on it and said, did this come through this? Everybody says you lost a mouse.
Yeah.
And it was a hamster. And the man was telling us the rules of the apartment section. We'd come back to North Carolina from Alabama. And he said, you can have no pets if they're, this is when I knew I lived in a different world than other people. He said, no pets over 20 pounds. And I said, well, we've got a hamster. And he said, if it's over 20 pounds, you can't
We
get
don't
this
want it,
apartment.
yeah.
And it just struck me funny. I said, if it's over 20 pounds, he's out of here.
Yeah.
We don't know
need to breed
anything.
him.
They call
So,
those
but
dogs.
Yeah.
another hamster was suffering. You know, I don't know what's wrong
Not
with
a long
hamsters.
life expectancy, the hamsters.
No.
They just
He probably lived his life as long as he was
But you
going.
can
Yeah.
tell that
Yeah,
he's
snap.
suffering. and you were getting ready to go to school. And I said, now, son, you are, and I don't remember the hamster's name. We always named them.
Mhm.
I said, you are aware that this is a sick hamster. And I'm being serious.
Mhm.
And you said, I can tell he's sick.
Yeah.
You're about to cry.
Mhm.
And I said, it could be that we would have to put him out of his misery. He is suffering.
Right.
And you said, okay. That's all I said. It could be that we have to put him out. So when I came back, I'm teaching, I'm working my head off. And I come in and you're crying and everything else. And you said the hamster died.
Mhm.
He's dead. And I said, I am so, now, you know, son, I might not have pulled you in my lap and read books, but I put my arms around you and told you,
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, honey. But you know, we discussed this morning. And this was a real good. And he said, do you want to see where I buried him? And I said, well, of course, put all my school books down, thinking I'm here. This is good. I can handle this. And we are out looking at this mound of dirt, and you're sniffling and carrying on. And you said he was barely breathing when I threw the dirt in on him.
Well,
I will never forget that.
first
I
of
know,
all I'm thinking is,
your hand has not gone
let's
up.
go to Walmart and get
Get
another
another
hamster. I want a
hamster.
new
I
hamster.
know
This
kids
one's
ready to
clearly
go back.
outlived its
And
usefulness.
I said, what? You know, I said, what did you just say? He
Yeah.
said he was barely breathing
Barely breathing.
when I
mean,
threw
he
the
was
dirt in
suffering.
on him. And I said, you killed him.
No,
You
he
killed this
was
hamster.
already
He
dead
said,
in spirit.
you told me to put him, you heard, put him
him
out of
down.
his misery.
Yeah.
Sorry, but my mother said, throw this dirt in on you. And
Yeah.
there you go. Oh, it was awful.
It
It
was.
was
In
awful.
retrospect, I handled that poorly.
I know.
I don't know what else to say. I mean,
Okay. No,
Well,
but,
it saved Ryder and Gray a few times during
I know.
the flu.
true.
but now, but yeah, that's terrible what you just said. Say it again.
It's
Saved them when they had those bouts of the flu. That's
Yeah.
real funny. So I'm asking my friends, see, that's not something you can tell because people would go what you just said. Oh,
Yeah.
but all right,
That's
barely
funny.
breathing.
Well, last time,
Peter will be calling. I know,
Oh,
I
yeah.
know, Peter.
Last time my dog peed on the carpet, I started throwing dog treats into the street.
I know, That's terrible. You're joking. You're joking. Oh my gosh.
We're going to hear it on that.
Huh?
We're going to hear the. Hear
I know. They don't even know the ones
So
we
I've
don't
been
want to
blocking-
tell.
I've been blocking people all day.
Have you? Or is it one of those days?
You get saucy on our feed, you get blocked.
Okay. No, what we have the trolls. We have people that do. Well, let's ask some more of their questions. And we
Well-
block the trolls as fast as we can, y'all. And when you block a troll, it blocks every other troll they do that day.
can't
You know, it
walk
takes a
across the
bunch of
bridge.
them. But
Yeah.
I know. Okay, here's another one of your questions. See, where's my list of stories I wanted to work in? Okay. All right. Mr. Beaver, question from Joyce Hodges. A question for Beaver. Okay. Have your kids been payback for all the trouble you caused your parents? From Basehor, 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 Kansas, near the NASCAR track west of Kansas City, just in case you need to know that information. So Basehor. Okay. We've already answered that
We
question.
pretty much
Yeah.
have.
Already got that.
Yeah.
Covered that. Okay. Well, what's the time on? We have enough
You
questions to
got
go.
6 minutes.
6
till
minutes
one.
of this
And
high
we got a
quality
lot to
entertainment.
do. Got a lot to do.
Okay. Colette Welch, can't wait, but it's probably going to be tough to fit everything into 1 hour. So, Beaver, what kind of dog did you get when you were a kid that left his calling card behind the small couch? And were you surprised? Asking from Utah.
I believe that was Rebound.
I thought Rebound was the next dog.
Sugarfoot.
Spot. Sugarfoot.
Sugarfoot.
Spot.
I believe.
They were supposed to win the conference championships at Williams High School. Remember?
I do.
And they were picked to win, and the season started in November, and they didn't win. They didn't win the month of November.
I think by December, it was pretty clear we're
We're not going to win anything.
Yeah.
And not only that, they hadn't won a game, and we got Rebound for Christmas. That was another year.
Jerry wanted to call it Rebound,
Rebound.
to remind me to rebound.
That's right.
Yeah.
Jerry
Yeah. Always
just
working the
felt-
angle.
Always
Yeah.
working the angle. Call
Yeah.
the dog Rebound because that was your job. I remember you
Right.
were on the free throw line one time and it was crucial. And I said, rebound, Beaver.
Yeah.
Everybody in the crowd was saying it. And you turned around and said, Mama, stop telling me what to do.
Yep.
Like all I said was,
We had a lot of
rebound,
that. Yeah.
Beaver. A kid came in the front door and he said, oh, you got a dog for Christmas? And I said, yeah. And he said, what's his name? And he was jumping on him and he was petting him. And I said, rebound. It's supposed to remind Beaver to rebound. And he said, you should have named him Score. Do you remember
I
that?
do remember that.
Okay. So we do want to give away, have we given away 6 prizes today?
Only 3.
Okay.
Oh, we
draw,
gotta get going.
draw something here.
All right.
I got, look at
Yep.
all these
And I
questions.
see
Yep,
this
yep, yep.
guitar
There you
here.
go.
We don't want to miss that.
Oh, Patrick, you got a song for us?
Yeah, I do.
Well,
Yeah.
get up and get ready. Sandy Sund, S-U-N-D, Elder. And she says, bye. That's when I said, I'm leaving now. Bye. So she just won a prize, Sandy. You can choose what you want. Draw another one. We got to rush because we got a special thing when we go off today. Okay, but we're,
Yeah.
this is so,
Remember,
now,
we're not NBC.
we're not, what was it? Mark Lowry said, you're not NBC. You can keep it going. He was Sue Church. She's really neat and doing more than she's talking about last week's guest. We had a really good guest last week,
Oh,
Karen
yeah.
Morgan.
Good.
Karen Morgan. The
Good.
first question will be, how in the world? Oh, that's how did you wind up? But Sue
Well,
Church won.
Yeah, but I chose her, so she's a winner.
She's definitely the winner. But she
Yeah.
was asking Karen Morgan, how would somebody from Georgia who went to Georgia wind up in Maine? A good question. All right, what is your question right here? I mean, this is another winner.
This is the final one, correct?
Yeah, until we give away the big prize.
Well, that's a big old question there. Look at that.
But it's only got one line on it and it's in
Okay.
tiny print. Sue Cooper, my absolute favorite story. The visual of the Marmot strolling across the lobby of the hotel. That's from the Great Marmot Standoff.
Mhm, mhm.
So Sue Cooper, you have just won a prize. And now, do that. Okay.
Really fluff it up here.
What
All
I'm going to do is I'm going to pull something out of these questions
Okay.
and give it away because their names.
Okay.
All right. This is not a question to answer. This is a prize. Oh my gosh, it's Jean Black. Question for Beaver. When your ship comes in, that irritates me right away. You know it?
The Beaver collection. I mean,
Oh,
she's
you-
talking about,
Are you going to buy a red Porsche with your inheritance?
no.
Is this the audio?
No, this is somebody I just drew for a regular
This is
prize
a regular prize. Okay.
because that's what I said. Okay. Well, that's from the cursive story. They
Right.
love your expression when I say, when Daddy said, when his ship comes
Yeah.
in,
Right.
and Daddy.
Somebody said that because Gray didn't show up, his ship is turned into a canoe.
No, I like it.
I just can't believe he didn't come.
Well, kids.
Have you
I
met-
paid for dinner for
I-
him.
I know.
Have
I
you
know.
met a 21-year-old?
Yeah.
I know.
Exactly.
He is 21 years old. Okay, this prize is a prize of our audio book. You can tell I'm turning. Here it is. No, 7 hours. And I think 26 minutes. You think what, Patrick? 7 hours and what?
7 hours and 26 minutes. That's
Oh,
right.
okay. You corrected me. Maybe I was saying 14 minutes. It's a lot of stuff. 7 CDs in here. This is our most expensive item.
Okay.
But it's a terrific gift. If you don't like it, you take it to a nursing home or somewhere like that. And they can
Buy a
pass
lot
it
of
on.
them, and we'll throw it on the ship.
I'm
Right.
sorry I didn't hear you.
Yeah.
Throw it on the ship. For when the ship comes in. I know. That's terrible.
Well,
That's
yeah.
terrible.
All right.
All right. This is the person that's going to win this. So pull out a name.
Ooh, this
and
is
this-
big. A lot of
I know.
pressure. I can feel it.
Yeah.
There we go.
You do well under pressure.
Yep.
Don't worry about it. He can break into cars. You
Yeah.
sure? Okay. Elaine Dickerson. Okay. From Pampa, Texas. I've been in Pampa, Texas.
Mhm.
You drove me from here to Nashville, where I got on a plane to Dallas to fly somewhere that I rented a car and drove to Pampa, Texas 2 years ago when that hurricane was coming. Do you remember that?
I do.
I remember I came in here and sat on the porch and said, Beaver, so you're driving on home to Georgia today? And I said, yeah, could you go through Nashville?
Georgia by way of Texas.
Yeah.
I remember that because you asked me to drive you, and I said yes. And we had just we're getting a puppy that day.
What was the excuse?
And Leslie said, "You're going to leave me with 3 kids and a new puppy?" And I said, "Beaver, maybe you need to take
Yeah.
right.
All right. Well, Elaine Dickerson, let Tony know that you won the big prize today and everybody. Anything else you need to say, Tony? Anybody,
I'll let you know,
Nisha?
Tony at JeannieRobertson.com.
Okay.
And to let me know what their address and what they want.
Okay. Now, are you going to sing a song now and then we're going to get off the air and come back on and do that surprise?
Yes.
Is that what you're doing? I'm left out of this. So sing a song now.
Okay.
What are you singing? Is it funny?
No.
Oh,
Well, this is
gonna be about your mother dying?
No, my God. I don't sing songs about my mother dying.
I know it.
It's very
You
upsetting.
do that after the die. Yeah.
What?
I wrote this song about my mother's funeral. Don't worry, Mom. My mom's not dead. I wrote this song for Leslie, and it's funny because it took me a long time to write Leslie her song, and she told me finally, she goes, "You've written songs for all those trashy women you dated before you married me. When are you going to write my song?" And so I finally wrote Leslie a song, and I want to I'll play it for you.
Well, she's the mother of your children.
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah, this is just a way to honor her.
I'm trying to get a tie in here,
Thank
Patrick.
you. I don't have a good Mother's Day song, but never wrote you your love song. Never could find the right lines. A wit would be easy to piece some words together. Find melody and a few clever rhymes. Could have written about your beauty and the way you always made me feel inside. How it felt to hold you, or how I'd get lost in your eyes. That's not a love song. That's not our love song. Though you've always wanted a love song, I've put pen to paper at least 100 times. Could have written about your smile, or how I'd walk 1,000 miles just to have you standing right here by my side. But that's not a love song. That's not our love song. Our song's about love and deep, holding strong, family and coming home, unbreakable, uncompromised, reflected in our children's eyes, it's laughing through the good times, clinging through the pain. Now that's a love song. That's our love song. Our song's about love and deep, holding strong, family and coming home, unbreakable, uncompromised, reflected in our children's eyes, snapping through the good times, clinging through the pain. Now that's a love song. That's our love song. Never wrote you your love song. Just couldn't do it overnight. Doesn't mean I wasn't writing your love song. Just took me 12 years to write.
Wow. Way to go, Patrick.
Good.
He hadn't written a song about me. I've been asking about it and complaining about it. That's beautiful. Thank you very much. Now, what we're going to do today, because the two of you playing something, but
We were going to
copyright-
sing a special Mother's Day song that we think captures the true essence of our relationship with our mothers.
I think so.
Okay.
So here's what we're going to do.
But the problem is it's copywritten.
Well, it's not our song, so we want to make sure that it doesn't jeopardize the integrity of this show. So we're gonna sign off and come back on in 30 seconds and do the song. So
What?
y'all just
I know nothing about this.
I
You
know.
just told
So
me.
y'all just join back up on Jeannie's page, her YouTube channel, or her Facebook page in about 1 minute, and Beaver and I are going to do a song together. So
Was this going to be worth everybody's time?
well, I hope so.
Okay.
I mean, I think it's
Y'all know anything about this?
So we're going to go ahead and sign off now. And thank you.
Thanks for coming. Let me thank
Yeah,
Beaver,
sure.
honey. Thanks for coming. I love you. You know that.
Happy Mother's Day.
I appreciate
Many more
it.
to come.
And in his song, I have gone through right much pain with you.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think that's why we're going to sing this.
Oh, but I love you to death. Okay. All right. Hey, everybody, if you've had a good time, and I'm putting like I do every week because we always get better, and we go through them and we put, hundreds into this bag because y'all asked the same question, one question at least 50 times, and it was, where'd you get your nickname? And we've answered it a lot of times, so we didn't really want it to roll back around today. So we saved the questions, and of course invite him back whenever he can come. And then now they know the joke of, why don't you have Beaver and the boys on at the same time? Can't get them out of the bed.
Yeah. Happy
No.
Mother's Day to everybody.
Happy Mother's Day to everybody, y'all. And even if your mother might not still be with you, there's a lot of people who would appreciate a phone call.
She's a heck of a lot of fun, Jeanne Robertson. Oh, she's a heck of a lot of fun, Jeanne Robertson.